2 minutes into this. Let's do this. Children of the Beast, episode number 20. We're back. Welcome. Hello, it's me, Andrew, joined as always by Carlos. Hello, good sir. How are you doing on this fine Sunday morning?
Tremendous. Adjusting to the weather a little bit this week. Had a beast of a week, but a great weekend.
That's
good.
Know?
So, yeah, I'm doing all right.
For me, it's not so much the weather, but the amount of sunlight, right? I mean, it gets dark at 4:30 here, and it is miserable.
Oh, see, I have to leave. When I leave anywhere between 5 a.m. and 6:30 in the morning, I leave my house. And this last week, on a couple of those days, it was 36 degrees when I leave. And then it's like 60 in the mid-afternoon. So I'm leaving here like I'm going to summit Everest.
Sure.
I have fucking a Sherpa, and I have enough
it's not that quite cold.
Enough clothing to withstand the blizzard. I have a coat inside the pockets of the coat, my gloves, because you know what, dude? You never know when you're going to need the gloves till you need them right then. So I now keep them right in my thing.
I keep mine in my car.
Yeah. I got sweaters at the office. So, you know, like
my car also has multiple jackets
right now in case I get cold. I put that shits right up. You know what I mean? But it's good. It was good. It was a good weekend. I thought I was going to have to work yesterday.
Right. You mentioned that.
So it was great that I didn't, you know, and good, man. So far, everything's good. Mikey's doing great. He's fully out of the rage from the steroid.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So it takes a little
steroid rage.
And, I mean, he does good, but it definitely changes his mood. So
sure.
No, we're doing better. Just waiting on Christmas and hoping everything works out so we can all get together for Christmas, you know?
Happy fourth night of Hanukkah. I think today's the fourth night of Hanukkah.
Shalom. I don't know.
Shalom.
Okay.
Dave Grohl, who is not Jewish.
Adam Sandler is playing a song with an acoustic guitar.
So, Dave Grohl, who is not Jewish, but I guess he has a Jewish friend, right? Well, I'm sure he has multiple Jewish friends. I don't know why I put it like as if he only has
accountants and lawyers.
Oh
I would imagine someone's reviewing the contract.
The point I'm bringing this up is he is releasing the Hanukkah sessions, which every day of Hanukkah, it's him and this artist who is also Jewish, and they collaborate and they're releasing a cover of a different Jewish artist's song. So night 1 was a Beastie Boy song. Night 2 was a Drake song. Night 3, what was night 3? Night 3 was fucking, who did they do last night? I don't remember, but they've done Beastie Boys and Drake so far. Oh, they did the Mississippi Queen song last night.
Oh, yeah.
Because I guess that's a Jewish guy singer, apparently. So I think it's cool because I didn't know. I don't know.
I love that song, but
it's just cool. It's cool. How many other, outside of Adam Sandler, how many other people do Hanukkah night sessions? So I think it's cool.
Yeah.
You don't care. It's clear.
Well, here's the thing. I like sports, right? And I respect, like, for instance, on Yahoo yesterday, when I was reading the news, I saw these 2 kids in Ashbury Park or something in New York City. Okay. They did a ice skating presentation to a Nothing Else Matters arrangement.
Okay.
Really fucking good.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm not into ice skating. I don't want to see Tony Ferguson ice skating, dressed like an ice skater. That doesn't mean I have anything wrong with ice skating. Well, to me, it's the same thing. If Dave Grohl's doing rap and shit, okay, well, good. I hope he's having fun. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about his doing a Beastie Boy song, who I don't give a fuck about, or Drake, who I don't give a fuck about either. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I bet he's having fun. That's great. But stay in your fucking lane.
I disagree with that notion. I feel like I've come around on the stay in your lane notion, right? Because if people didn't stay in your lane, you would never get innovations. Right. Innovations requires going outside of your lane in general. So
for sure. But it's a double-edged sword like a motherfucker.
Sure.
And we cannot pretend that it isn't, because what you don't need right now is Roseanne Barr deciding she's going to make it on the NBA, because she's not. So, I mean, there's a spectrum of fucking logic that we have to apply.
I mean, sure. Okay. I'm also not going to live on Mars.
And to me, when fucking Dave Grohl is doing rap, that defies my personal spectrum of logic. Listen, I'll bring it back onto somebody that I love dearly. Chris Cornell, his estate, right?
Oh, yeah. I just saw you're going to talk about this new album.
New record.
Yeah.
God damn, it's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's why he didn't release it.
Yeah.
Bro, my wife loves Chris Cornell.
It was not good.
I love Chris Cornell. We're out here in the garage. We're like, oh shit, let's listen to this Chris Cornell. Yeah. It's like, first of all, it's like a hip hop person produced the tracks because they all have like a beat.
Yeah, it's guitar over with a producer.
Did that shit to us like 10 years ago. He released a record that had fucking like, he even had like a Madonna cover and shit. Again, Chris Cornell in his lane, one of the greats. Chris Cornell trying to be fucking Lady Gaga. I don't give a fuck. Stay in your fucking lane, Chris Cornell. With all due respect, and may you rest in peace. But that, that's where I fall on that. I'm too old to give a fucks. My fucks are running out, and I'm very close to 40-year-old.
So close.
So close. And the fucks is like, right now, it's like I'm on a boat and we're just throwing the sandbags out of the fucking overboard because 40 is coming and we got to lighten up the load. So my fucks is going out. All my fucks, they're going out. This way.
You're stupid.
We got too many fucks. Oh, we need less. And then I throw my fucks out. That's what's going on.
All right. Well, let's move on.
I have no problem with turning 40, as you can see. Anyway,
Clearly.
What we're talking about?
Let's move on. Let's talk about fights.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because I did a doubleheader last night. Bare Knuckle was last Friday, so I watched Bare Knuckle. I started it an hour. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, we are the official Bare Knuckle podcast.
Yes, we are.
And the beauty of the Bare Knuckle app is that, right, you can spend an hour and watch every fight on the card. Because the fights are quick, ladies and gentlemen. There are like 8 fights, 10 fights maybe. I don't know.
And there were fire last night.
I will say, Friday night, not last night. That was
Friday night.
I will say, the app navigation, you can tell. It's a little clunky. You can tell that we're...
Very clunky. Very clunky. But it's new. It's new. It's very new.
I had to search for the fights. At first, I couldn't find the Bare Knuckle 15 card, but I found it. And it was very good.
Very good card, dude. Action-packed. My man Shaquille
So, right, here's my thing. I do got to say, though, right? Like, with Bare Knuckle, I know you've never watched a Rough and Rowdy card, but do you know what Rough and Rowdy is?
Is that the Barstool thing?
It's the Barstool thing. It gives me very similar vibes. Last night watching it gave me very similar vibes. And maybe it's just because one of the most exciting fights was the guy that had the nickname of the Hammer that looked like a fat felon. Just bald, looked like a sharp, bigger dude with horrible tattoos, tribal tattoos. And it was violent. It was great. I enjoyed it. But it gave me the same sense of satisfaction that it gave me watching a Rough and Rowdy card.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, I don't have context because I've never seen Rough and Rowdy.
Sure.
But I mean, on the main card, there was 5 knockouts.
Yeah. No, it was...
out of 6 fights.
Awesome. In that regard, it was awesome.
As far as the action is concerned, and they came up with what I'm sure is a bullshit study, but that it claims that somebody is proving that Bare Knuckle is less dangerous,
concussive,
than MMA.
It causes less concussions than MMA or boxing because of the lack of gloves.
Which maybe or maybe not. But it's so funny how things work though, because Shaq shows up, and I'm sure Shaquille O'Neal gets the royal treatment when he shows up to bare knuckle boxing, right? Of course. And they tell him about this study, and then many people that maybe their first time watching bare knuckle fighting are like, "Holy shit, these guys are legit." Shaq's on that motherfucker, right. And Shaq's giving you this hard data. All of a sudden, it becomes hard data because it's coming from Shaquille O'Neal.
Well,
we all know who Shaquille is.
An analyst on television.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
He's a basketball analyst.
Yeah. Like, that's all it takes. Yeah. That's all it takes.
Of course.
So I thought that was interesting. But overall, a fucking great card. The female card.
Those female fights were incredible.
Those girls were fucking banging, dude. That poor girl. She had a hematoma. She had the fucking, oh my goodness. It was a wonderful night of fights. It was a wonderful night of fights.
It was super violent. It was great. Highly recommend it.
Oh, Crazy Horse Bennett.
$5. Well, his name is what? Felony now? It's not Crazy Horse.
Well, he's always been Charles Felony Bennett. But they also called him Crazy Horse Bennett. At some point, he embraced the felonious aspect of his repercussions and made it part of his shtick. But he fought, though. 5 fucking rounds.
That was a great
with
fight.
The British champ.
Yeah.
It was good, man. It was good. It was good. And see, that's what happened to me with fighting this week. I didn't order the UFC.
You did not watch it?
Nah.
Bro.
I knew I was gonna go to sleep early.
It was a banger card.
Maybe.
No, it was. Let me tell you, it was.
I don't doubt it. To me, bare knuckle, and boxing took all of my attention yesterday.
That's wild, dude. That's wild.
So
the skill difference, though. But the
amazing
skill difference between
boxing.
bare knuckle and MMA, there is leaps and bounds.
No. But boxing. There was boxing all weekend. There was 3 boxing cards all weekend that were fucking great with 20-year-olds, 17-year-old up and comers. I mean, last night's top rank boxing match, there was fucking 6 knockouts. I mean, we're talking just motherfuckers finishing. There's this kid. His name is it's a Puerto Rican kid, Edgar Berdalga. He is a middleweight, which is about 168 pounds. Okay. Junior middleweight. Last time I saw him, he was 14-0. He is 16-0, all first round knockouts. 16-0, and he's fighting he's going through the division. This is not like bullshit fights. But he's taking everybody by fucking storm. I mean, there was Anthony Joshua came back. He fought in England.
Don't care about Anthony Joshua.
Won a knockout on the 8th round, which is fucking great because we have like the best heavyweight division that we've had in boxing in the last 30 years. And him winning brings the Deontay Wilder match possible, Tyson Fury, motherfucking Andy Ruiz. And you have, so there's like a lot of action. Like heavyweight right now is in boxing, not in the fucking UFC. Until John Jones gets to heavyweight, heavyweight right now for me is 100% boxing. I don't give a fuck about the UFC heavyweights. And then yesterday, I don't doubt that the card was banger, but from a pay-per-view value perspective, there was 2 fights that were pay-per-view worthy, and I don't find Figueiredo that exciting. So if it hadn't been for the 5th round, and I'll explain more, I guess, in a little bit, but if it hadn't been for the 5th round, that fight is easily fight of the year. Easily. So the card started with the early prelim with Chase Hooper, the 20-year-old, who's now 21-year-old. Heel hook.
Bro, he was getting, Peter Bear was his opponent. His opponent was taking it to him on the feet. He was chopping his leg, and Chase Hooper went for 2 Imanari rolls, landed both of them, and then got the heel hook in the very, midway through the 3rd round where he was clearly losing the fight. Incredible. You had Cub Swanson with an incredible knockout in the 2nd round. And then in the main card, JDS, you had him knocked out. Cub was
on the prelims, though.
Last fight of the prelims.
Yeah.
Last fight of the prelims, correct. On the main card, you had JDS versus Cyril Gane. Gone. I think he's French. I think it's pronounced Gone. JDS got knocked out 2nd round. Incredible.
Well,
this card was changing the card. No. And this card is for sure changing the guard because in the next fight, Kevin Holland versus Jacare. Kevin Holland gained a knockout from the back, on the ground, on his back, with Jacare on top of him. He hits him with a hook. Jacare is stunned, fits back, hits him again, falls. Jacare falls back, and Kevin Holland tees off him. It was incredible in terms of one of the wildest knockouts, just because, Jacare took him down. That doesn't happen often. Yeah, Jacare took him down.
Down to up is not a common thing.
Mackenzie Dern got the division over Fern Jan.
And that was a feature bout, right?
That was the feature strawweight. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I have no knock against Mackenzie Dern. I'm a fan. You're not pay-per-view caliber yet.
For sure.
Agreed. You won 75 of my dollars. When
Carlos
brought the heat, right? And then I'm watching boxing, and boxing's bringing the heat.
Well, I wonder if this is different for me then, right? Because for me, it's very easy to find these events online. So, I didn't pay the $65 for this event.
Well, we'll see. But that's the thing. Even back in the day, back in the day, kids, believe it or not, you used to have to pay for music. You would go to something called a record store, and you would buy what was called a CD or a record, right? And you actually had to exchange money, currency, not bitcoins, currency, money, paper money for the record, right? After Napster came out and you could peer-to-peer stream and exchange files with people, I was never a person that just took the shit. I believe in paying for the product. I do fine. Like that aspect of capitalism.
But then,
but by the same token, though, on a card like last night, as much as I'm a diehard UFC, you know me, dude. I had fucking UFC pass as soon as it was out. You know what I'm saying?
And because of that, right? Your perceived value is absolutely going to be different than mine.
Right, but see, my currency in my crazy delusional mind is my attention span. And I'm not going to turn my attention span when they're, to me, the offering is not what it should be after all these years. I'm glad that you're fulfilling your fucking ESPN contract. Good. Awesome. You're firing a bunch of people. And the last couple of cards, in my opinion, you could have had one great card with fights from the last 3 or 4 cards. You could have had one banger of an end of the year card that I would have loved to pay for. But if we're turning not like some of these feel like what I imagine for football fans are like preseason games. Some of these are like, you should not be putting that on a weekend even. That should be like fight night shit during the week.
I almost want to agree with you, but consistently throughout the year, some of these sleeper cards where you don't know the people are some of the most exciting cards.
No, I agree, but it's their job to sell them to me in as far as streaming legally, right?
Sure, and like again, I don't have that barrier. That's a barrier that you're imposing. Sure,
they're doing a shit job at enticing me to purchase that product by selling it to me gradually. Sure. All of a sudden, they're like,
well, then, like,
next to Conor McGregor, bibbidi bibbidi bobbidi boo, who's new from fucking Nicaragua. Well, I don't know the bibbidi bobbidi boob is, motherfucker. I want to watch Conor, and you're stacking fucking 4 fighters in that main event that I don't give a fuck about. Like, I care about Jacare, but I'm not surprised that like neither Dos Santos or Jacare should have been on the fucking pay-per-view, let alone Mackenzie Dern. Now you're leaving me with 2 fights, and you used to criticize boxing for not having an undercard. I'm talking about Dana White, you know. Oh, when you get boxing, nobody gives a fuck about the undercard. People leave. People don't even sit down. Well, shit, you're starting to go in that fucking direction, man. You know? And a lot of it is because you don't want to pay fighters. You don't want to play nice with fighters. So you go, oh, yeah? Well, Kevin Holland wouldn't do it. Fuck you. Well, yeah, man. But
Kevin Holland went 5-0 in 2020.
Yeah, no. I mean, but see, that's a part I love. And that happened, by the way, in both boxing and UFC this year.
Oh, that's cool.
A bunch of people that have stayed on the ready. Yeah. Like last night, that Berlanga, that's his fucking 3rd fight this year. Then there's another guy, his last name's Collard.
So I don't really have a sense. How often is it? Like, what's pretty a typical boxing season for a year for a fighter, for a boxer? I don't have a sense of how many.
Well, just think about it in this context. Proper camp is about 2 months, 8 to 12 weeks, you know, maybe 16 weeks.
Gotcha. So it's similar to UFC. 2 to 3 is probably standard.
So if you think about a calendar year, training properly without injuries.
Right. And injuries are going to happen. So, yeah.
But how else do you train without injuries?
You don't do as intense training camps, and you
finish fights with no damage.
Sure.
And what does that do? That raises your stock as a commodity of that sport. So it all goes hand in hand. You know what I'm saying? That's why sometimes when motherfuckers complain about like, well, I should be getting this or this or this or this. Dude, Conor McGregor only works if he wins.
Yeah.
If Conor McGregor didn't fucking come out and do what he said he was going to do, we don't give a fuck, like him or not. You know what I mean? Like, you got to fucking walk the goddamn walk. Some of these guys want to convince you that they're walking the walk by interpreting with talk what the results have been. It's like, no, motherfucker, we're watching the same shit.
But Kevin Holland has your attention.
Kevin Holland doesn't have to compete for your attention right now.
But also, that's part of it too, right? Your ability to speak is also partially like that's part of the equation, right? It's not the entire equation.
A little bit, but there's a big difference between the popularity of a person that talks a lot of shit and wins, and the person that talks a lot of shit and you're interested, but only because they get their ass whooped every time, like Chael. There's a big fucking spectrum of difference there.
Sure, but I feel like you have someone like Kevin Lee, who I don't think it would be as popular as he is if it wasn't for his attitude and for the way he comes off on the mic. That's part of it. That is part of it, right? Yeah, that is part of it.
Yeah, Kevin Lee, but he has had some. He's game though.
He is game, but he wouldn't be put in some of the positions to show how game he is if it hadn't been for his ability to come off as a persona, as a character that makes you interested in his fights in the first place.
I mean, I think that enhanced it, but I don't think I don't think he tricked his way into any fight.
I'm not saying it's like tricking into it, but I think it's a factor that plays into it, right?
I think Colby's done that. I think for sure. I think Colby's the new Chael, and worse because he takes it so far that I'm sorry, dude. That ass whooping he took last time was fucking brutal.
Yeah.
Like there's fighters that go an entire lifetime without ever taking an ass whooping.
Before we
like
move
that.
on, because we didn't even get into the co-main event, the main event from last night, right? So co-main event was Tony Ferguson, Charles Oliveira. That was right? Again, the theme of this card was the changing of the guard. Tony Ferguson, unfortunately, looked a little bit old.
Yeah, but Charles Oliveira ain't going to be a champion, though.
Dude, he looked good.
Against Tony.
Sure. And Tony looked good against everyone except for Justin Gaethje.
Tony ain't been himself for a long time.
I mean, since the Justin fight, right? Like before this, he was on the incredible win streak up until the Cerrone fight? And then he lost against who? Dustin. No, he didn't lose against Dustin. It was just Justin.
I think it was just, but you're forgetting about all the stuff that happened in between then. And he
but to pretend like Tony Ferguson isn't an elite level fighter still.
No, I mean, he's an elite level fighter, but his window's passed. And Charles Oliveira, his career is up and down in the top part, but he ain't going. He doesn't have the consistency of performance that is necessary.
He looked really good last night. He looked really good last night.
But I've seen him look really good before, though, is the thing. And then I've seen him be fucking flat as shit.
Who beats him on the ground then?
Khabib.
Khabib's not a fighter. Khabib's retired, baby. Khabib's not a person in the lightweight division.
Who beats him on the ground? There's a caveat to that because Oliveira doesn't have great takedowns. He ain't taking fucking Justin down.
Maybe.
He ain't. And Justin will eat his legs up like fucking Kobayashi eats hot dogs.
I wish you had seen this fight last night.
I mean, I'll watch it once it's released on the Aspen app, But yeah, it's like, and then that was the other thing that happened. I was like, in my mind, I was like, well, okay, I pay for the ESPN app, right? And as you know, it's well documented. I never did business with ESPN. I resent to this day the fact that I do business with ESPN. I don't give a fuck about any other sport, right? Golf isn't on ESPN, and I don't watch golf even.
Hold on. I feel like we're going on a tangent. And we're still trying to talk about these fights, right? They're still the main event.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that they're going to release it later on the same app that they're still billing me for anyway. And there was 2 fights worth watching to me last night, paying for.
The Cub Swanson fight is really good.
Yeah, but I didn't have to pay for that because I was in prelims.
Sure.
So there was only 2 fights worth watching for me out of that pay-per-view last night. Fuck that. And to me, as much as I did have a lot of curiosity about Charles and Tony, I already before going into this week, I was like, well, that's a good tough guy fight. But I'd rather have seen that fight as a main event and a fight night because I think Tony's window passed. I think that we don't know the half of it about his mental health issues. We just swept him under the rug as a sport.
He looked old. He walked into the cage looking old. Well, it was weird.
Never takes
it was
time
weird.
off training either. And I don't think that dude's right in the head. I really don't. I think that we're doing him a disservice as a community of MMA. Everybody let him off easy. The only one that asked him a question somewhat like that was Rodney James, who happens to be somebody I've trained with at Couture's. And Tony almost wanted to kick his ass for asking him how he was coping with things. Of course he did. Don't bring up my shit. Bro, you jumped out of the fucking car in the middle of the fucking freeway. You're still with the wife. You don't think that we think she lives in fear?
It's well documented that fighters are ginormously sensitive when coming to talk in interviews and with reporters.
But I'm just saying, like, the whole picture to me going into this fight, I'm like, I want to see the fight and I'm curious about it, but I'm not thinking that's a champion. A champion is like a Cormier, or even John Jones. Like these guys that have their, like, they have their different personalities that I don't like about different things, right? But they're always working on their shit, right? They have their family, their kids, the blah, 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 blah. There's other things that kind of are indicators that a person's in a good mental space to do something. And I don't see those indicators with Tony. I just don't. And I haven't thought Charles Oliveira was going to be a champion for at least 2 years now. I like him. I'm a fan.
Sure.
But
this is definitely like his, this is like the win that gets him into the top 5 conversation, unquestionably, I feel like. And then from there, we'll see what happens. I mean, lightweight, the top 5 at lightweight is a bunch of sharks. And I'm excited to see each shark fight each other shark and see what happens. Give us a tournament, Dana White. But the main event, was Davidson Figueroa versus Brandon Moreno, both coming off like a 3-week layoff from their last event.
They had fought before, right? Or not?
No, never.
Oh,
never.
I thought for some reason
they fought on the same card though. When they were both fighting 3 weeks ago, they both fought on the same card, just different opponents. Right. Davidson Figueroa coming off of the win of Alex Perez, and I don't remember who Moreno beat. But really good fight. Like I said, if it wasn't for the 5th round, could have easily been fight of the year. In the 3rd round, there was a not intentional by any means groin strike from Figueroa, but very blatant and very damaging. And Jason Herzog, the ref, took a point. He detected a point in the 3rd round. This was after an eye poke that Figueroa had done against Moreno. There seems to be some debate whether or not the point detection was warranted. I tend to agree with it, right? It's unquestionably that it changes the outcome of the fight. It's unquestionable. And that one was so hard. Mm-hmm. It was just so hard. I feel like, right, when it comes with groin strikes, you have to almost take away the intention of the attacker and also the reaction of the person, regardless of them, because those are always going to be very different regardless. But there has to be some sort of consistency. And I think unless it's like very obvious, like incidental, like we were changing position and I grazed the balls. If it's like a knee or a foot that goes into, I think probably 90% of the time there probably should be a point deduction. Otherwise, how do you get around it? And right, it's going to happen, unquestionably.
I'm okay with it remaining the way it is. I'm okay with sometimes people think it's controversial. Sure. And I'm okay with a system that trusts the one guy that's the closest to all the action and the best trained to make that determination in a split-second position to do so. Because we also live in a society where we want to, like, it's kind of like police violence, right? Like sometimes the perp is getting away or resisting or whatever, and you got to like be rougher.
Sure.
But that's not all the time. Sometimes you're just being an asshole. You know what I mean? And we would want the police, every time that there's a suspicion that they're being an asshole, we'd want to point deduct it.
Okay, sure.
So in the event, in something like this,
no, and like I said, I'm okay with by virtue of it being so controversial with this specific subject, I think that means we're probably doing it the right way.
Yes. Yeah, because nobody feels right.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's what you want, right? Like that's what they say. The best deal is when nobody walks away thinking they got the
going into the 5th round last night. I remember I tweeted. I was like, if Moreno is able to take the 5th round, I think he wins the fight. It was right. You saw again. I feel like you saw with Moreno the definition of a scrappy Mexican fighter. Someone that whenever he was taking a punch would always land back, would land too. Just so much heart, so much scrappiness. His combinations were vicious. He was doing in the first early rounds, he was doing this beautiful jab to front leg kick to the head. Beautiful. Figgy looked so much stronger. Every punch he landed, he looked so much bigger. Every punch he landed looked to do just a little bit more damage to Moreno. So going into the 4th round or going into the 5th round, at the beginning of the round, it looked like Moreno threw his shoulder out, basically, right? Throwing a punch and just overextending his shoulder, because in the first 2.5 minutes, he just didn't move. I mean, he just didn't throw a punch. He just didn't throw a strike. He was just kind of there, kind of just moving, trying to do feints and whatnot. It ended up being a majority draw. I'm not mad at the decision. The scorecards are weird. One of the refs gave the 5th round to Moreno, which it should have clearly been a 5th round for Figgy. And if that ref had done that round properly, it would have been a decision for Figueroa. I don't disagree with the decision. It was a great fight. The draw was right. I thought if he would have been able to take the 5th round and on top of the point detection in the 3rd round, Moreno would have gone it on the scorecards. And I think that kind of speaks to the virtue of how close the fight was. But it was incredible. Like, highly recommended to go back and watch that fight, dude. It's fun.
Well, I will. I mean, like I said, I was planning on doing it. It's just, and we've talked about it here. Like, my only way of, at this point in my
once flyweights too, it's so hard to find, to like trust a flyweight fight to.
Well, no. See, it's hard for me to get invested in a division where I don't care about 90% of the fighters.
Sure. Yeah.
There's 3 little dudes there that can fight each other in the next year and a half before one of them gets hurt and another one decides that he's made enough money, there's more money elsewhere or whatever the fuck it is. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I'm not trying to be shitty, but at that size, I'd rather watch girls fight. Yeah, like it's just, and again, to me, the Friday night was a banger because I didn't have to work Saturday, so I was already stoked. And then the bare knuckle fights were just so fucking good. My wife and I were fucking screaming and having fun. And then yesterday, was one of, okay, let's just fucking, yesterday, as a fan of boxing, was one of my top 3 days on earth.
Wow.
That's straight, because so many of this undercard, first of all, the undercards were fucking solid. We're talking up and comers, kids getting a real shot at 17, at 20 years old, when you should be getting those shots, not when they already passed you by, or where you're over here like, pay attention to me. No, this fucking kids were out there, man. And I'm telling you, this guy, Edgar Berlanga, he's going to be a fucking superstar, man. He throws so hard at 68 pounds, excuse me. It's fucking, I mean, I'd have to look it up to see when's the last time somebody started their career with 16-0, all first round knockouts, sure. All of them. How many idiots how many people that train their asses off to become a professional boxer could you possibly find to take a dive in front of this guy? You know what I mean? Like it's fucking really, really good. I like to see Joshua getting back to it. I like to see Shakur Stevenson is going to be a name that we are going to hear as far as the so many Americans too, by the way. God damn it. Jake Paul. I call him Jake and Logan Paul. I don't know about your professional lives at all. I don't know what you do, but I know you're ambassadors of boxing. That means I fucks with you. So what I need you to do is take all these names, man, and put them on your channels. Yeah, sure. Put them on your channels. All the kids, there's like 18-year-olds that follow you. They should be following them too. That's all I want, because it's so fucking good, dude. I geeked out so hard on boxing, and I've been working out so much too and everything that I think like my brain is like so fucking like focused on it. Yeah. And I haven't been drinking, which is documented for my fucking getting ready for being 40 years old and shit. So it's just been nice to like sit down and like, that's been like, it's weird to realize that there's certain things that you love purely, like my kids love shit. Okay. And when you're unadulterated, like there's no, like, I'm not partying. I'm not like, all I'm doing is sitting here watching this thing and just watching them throw jabs and watching them put combinations together. This kid Berlanga throws a crazy overhand right. It sounds like somebody is like beating somebody to death with a wiffle ball bat. Because they're kind of thick, that plastic, you don't want to get hit with it. Right. But it's also, it sounds so hard. And then when he misses the overhand, he comes back up with a fucking lead uppercut that is just goddamn crazy. And while we're on the fucking uppercut, Anthony Joshua in fucking Britain was just him. Okay. At some point, I watched Anthony Joshua last night. He finished the fight, 8th round knockout. I watched him fucking throw 4 rear uppercuts in a row. he was a video game spamming the same button. This motherfucker. Yeah. I mean, we're talking like, wah-bah, wah-bah, reload. Like, just if you were not like well versed in boxing and you watched boxing last night, you in. It's not always like that. but last night it was though. So it was fucking good. And then I realized that maybe a week from now, I'll be in here being able to just watch the fucking fights. Because now that's the another thing I got to give the ESPN app. Documentaries. They do some good shit. There's some good shit on there. All the 30 for 30s and all of that shit, which I love, right? I'll watch anything, this documentary. Even I've watched wrestling once, baseball once. I don't even like any of those sports, but I'll watch the documentary. And then the other thing is when you rewatch the UFC and you can go fight by fight. Yeah, that's definitely the best. Nothing against the commentators and everything. But been there, done that. When I can go from one to the next to the next to the next, you know what I mean? Yeah, like sure. It's wonderful, dude. So I'm looking forward to watching it that way. Yeah. But yeah, I considered it at some point and I was like, I'm not going to do it. That was good. And I was tired. Yeah. And I was tired, because I also get spoiled with the earlier cards. Right. And definitely. Vegas is like, fuck, man. I even had an espresso around 5 o'clock in the afternoon thinking maybe this will help. No, it didn't. It didn't. It did not help. But it's really exciting to see boxing. So if one of the Paul brothers, which Mayweather,
Logan Paul's fight. Did you watch Logan Paul and Brendan Schaub on Food Truck Diaries?
Not yet.
You should.
Did you watch the interview with that bitch asking Logan Paul if he didn't think?
Well, that was Jake Paul. That was Jake Paul and Jamel Hill, and she was with someone else. Jamel Hill was with someone else. So I did not watch it. I watched a lot of people talk about it. I heard a couple. Did you watch? Did you hear the whole thing or just like the minute clip of it?
I heard the part where he was nice twice about the question, and she continued to ask the fucking question. Like it baffled me.
So here's the thing.
If you have more context, go ahead. I'm baffled.
So I don't have the context, right?
That people like that have a platform.
Let me come out and say, right? Like I did not listen to it, but I heard about it, and I heard about it from various people. Logan Paul and Brendan Schaub talk about it, and obviously Logan Paul come out and defends his brother as a brother would, right? And talks about how she was completely out of line and how it was not okay. And like he answered it exactly as he should have by calling it a dumb fucking question because it's stupid, right? It's a fucking sport. I don't remember what I was listening to, but I heard other people talking about it, talking about how, Jamel Hill was just clearly just joking. And if you listen to the full clip in context, you can clearly tell that she's just joking. But because she is known as the social justice person, she's not allowed to joke because everybody takes her too seriously. So I'm curious, since you listened to it, like I said, I did not listen to it. I had both of these narratives in my head. I didn't know which one was true. Please give me your take on it.
I know a bitch and I know the tone of a bitch.
Okay.
And in that interview, what I heard was the tone of a bitch that was not going to be denied her opportunity to shame you.
When
she was like when my female dog used to try to hump my male dog.
When she had a second person who like doubled down on him, right? Who doubled down on the question, right?
Yes. Yeah, no. He handled it way better than I would have because I'm a minority and I can say shits that he can't say. But fuck that bitch. Nah, this was out of line, dude. It was the most blatant, disingenuous, fucking condescending tone. And as soon as she was called out on it, I was like, oh, so you're that bitch that never gets called out.
Definitely.
I can only imagine the male or female that dates that fucking woman. Because goddamn, dude, it must be exhausting having a person like that hovering over your fucking opinions like a gargoyle of judgment. God damn.
Well, and like, right, it's just, I mean, like, let's not even discuss the merit of the question because it's just a silly question.
It's a question that is condescending that you could only have an aha moment with that question versus a moron.
Yeah.
Person that figured out a glitch in the matrix to make $35 million. That's, you know what I mean? Ask that shit to a dumb motherfucker that thinks he's gonna fucking get rich selling goddamn leggings on Facebook. Don't fucking ask that shit.
The question is it racist that you knocked out Nate Robinson? No, that's literally what they both signed up for.
So every time that Tom Brady throws a touchdown pass and the black guy misses the tackle, that's racist? Well, so if a white guy hits a home run of a black pitcher, I don't know if there are any, but if he did, is that racist? It's so fucking...
It's ridiculous. It is funny. And like, right, like kind of just moving away from that, right? Because I'm firm on my opinion. I said this last time we talked about this. I'm firm on my opinion. Logan Paul's going to fight Floyd Mayweather, which is great, fantastic.
It's so crazy.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid. But outside of Floyd Mayweather, right, they should keep going on a tear of calling out rappers, calling out other non-combat athletes, professional athletes.
100%.
Non-combat.
100%.
Maybe Dylan Dennis. Maybe Dylan Dennis.
I'm into that one.
I'm into that.
We got to make that one. That one's already... Listen, we're going to move from that one because that must happen.
Move past it. Logan did say that his brother is of the opinion that he needs 3 years of training before he can take the Conor fight in a straight boxing fight. Logan also said the rule is if any boxer wants to fight the Paul brothers, they have to get in an MMA octagon with them. But any non-combat sport,
it's a great rule.
And they want to box. They're down to box.
Gimmick.
It's so good.
It's so good. Fucking solid plan.
I highly recommend if you're at all interested in this, listen to Logan Paul talk to Brendan Schaub about it on Food Truck Diaries.
It's
very good because Brendan Schaub even asked the question like, "Why are you doing this? You guys can do literally anything you wanted with your following." And Logan basically says,
watch.
like, yeah, it's a very good interview. Like, it may make you a fan of Logan Paul. I won't lie.
No,
Especially if they keep doing this shit.
I came away a fan after the last
Especially
time.
if they keep doing this shit.
And I love this lane. This is a perfect lane for them.
It's great.
Because it's fighting, but they're creating a lane that never existed.
Creating their own market. They're creating their own market.
Yes. And they're creating an avenue for loudmouth posters to put up or shut the fuck up.
Yeah, because
the ones that shut the fuck up are going to, in my view, be conceding publicly that they have been full of shit for however many amount of years.
It looks mad pussy. It looks mad pussy if the Paul brothers call you out and you don't do it, right? It looks like, are you kidding me?
I want to see Fetty in there.
Insert name. Insert name. Tekashi 6ix9ine, whoever, Lil Gucci, whoever. Name any of them. Any of these guys.
Everyone's. You know, it's great. It's tremendous.
Fantastic. It's so good.
And with the pro athletes, it's also great because so many of those fucking morons think that they could have done it.
Well, and did you hear that apparently Nate Robinson didn't spar?
Let's get some actors in there too, please.
Yes, agreed. Any of these tough guys.
Exactly. Let's do a grappling thing with Ashton Kutcher. I heard he's a blue belt from John Jacques Machado or some shit. Let's see.
I didn't know this one. Fuck!
This makes me so happy. See, this smile is courtesy.
I just lost. Oh shit! It was about the Paul brothers and who they were gonna do. They were gonna do something with. Fuck! No, it's gone. Oh well.
Because we got Dylan Dennis.
The 3 years for the Conor fight makes a lot of sense.
Well. So Logan is a smaller kid. Jake is a bigger kid.
Logan is the older brother who I believe is bigger. Jake Paul is the one who just fought Nate Robinson.
And he's smaller.
And he's the younger brother.
So Logan's even bigger.
I think Logan Paul is like 6 foot, 6'1", 200 pounds. Is what they claim.
Because Jake was not like a small kid either.
Jake's like 180, I think. Maybe 190.
He's bigger than that, dude. I'm 170.
Okay.
That guy looked at least 20 pounds bigger than me, bro. And taller.
Well,
you know, like it's
so good. Yeah, the Paul brothers tour of destruction.
It's great. I love it. I think it's awesome. I think it's good for boxing.
I do too. I do too. It makes me a fan of boxing.
And after watching this weekend of boxing, I was like, bring more eyeballs, baby. The product's there. The only problem is the fucking boxing promoters. The production's still archaic. Their way of promoting's archaic. The product's good. The result is good. And I believe that the fucking demographic is wide open for them.
And like, right, that's one thing.
It's just this old dinosaurs. They're so fucking out of touch with the reality.
And like, that's one thing to be said for like, right, Thriller. They presented boxing in a new, unique way. Whether or not you like the production and the performances, and regardless, that's besides the fact, it was different than the way boxing is presented currently. And I think that's good. Yeah. But let's move on from fighting because I have some other stuff I would like to talk about.
Cool.
Because last week we talked about My Big Fat Fabulous Life. Bro. Bro.
I know, right?
So I got some thoughts. First off, let me commend you. Season 1, episode 1 of My Big Fat Fabulous Life. And let me say something, ladies and gentlemen, if you listen to that podcast where Carlos gives you like the first little taste of like how My Big Fabulous Life goes down, he's hitting you with a perfect recap of like the first 3 episodes. It's incredible how accurate you were on like your timeline of what's going on.
I'm a fucking professional, dude.
So fun. I was laughing so hard at that. But the star of that show, and I'm only a couple episodes in. Maybe like
about Todd?
No.
Or Barb?
I thought it was Babs. I thought the mom.
Oh yeah, Babs.
The mom. Yeah. The mom needs her own goddamn TV show.
A little in the Ozzy Osbourne vein,
bro. So
little
funny.
In the Ozzy shit.
So funny. I will say the show's a little hard to watch, like in extended, like episode after episode after episode, because she's awful. Whitney, the person, she's a horrible person.
Well, it gets better.
Well, I met one dude who was into her, who was clearly only into her because he is a feeder. Do you know what a feeder is, Carlos?
Hey, are you talking about the guy with the beard?
I don't remember what he looked. No, he was like some skinny white dude that was like kind of like fair hair. He was only in like the one date. He only made it through one date. And she was like, I like him, but he's too weird. So do you know what a feeder is, Carlos?
Well, yeah. Yeah, I think.
Right?
I mean, I'm pretty sure I back it.
All right. You can connect the dots.
I got it. I got it.
Because that dude is into watching girls eat and getting them big for sure.
Yeah. You'll be helpless and totally dependent on me. Like, what?
Bruh.
It's a good show.
It's
a good show.
Like I said, hard to watch. Hard to watch for extended periods.
Oh my God, dude. You don't know hard to watch. Wait till you catch up to last week's episode. Oh,
tell me what happened. Just tell me what happens. I don't care.
Well, she found out that she had this boyfriend, right?
Okay.
Last year, the season ended with a boyfriend proposing to her. Very odd. Very, very weird because a really cool guy. His name is Chase. She met Chase because he's best friends with Ryan, who's her business partner. Okay. So a couple of years ago, she got together with this Ryan guy who's a fitness guy on Instagram.
Okay.
And they have a business together where she does like a fat girl.
Yeah. She's doing
fitness.
Type shit. I saw like the beginnings of this. Well, like her very first big girl class, right?
Yeah. Well, no, that was dance. Now she's doing like fitness with a fitness dude.
Okay.
And they're like partners, and they do like viral shit or whatever. But through him, she met this guy Chase, and he started showing interest in her. We were all like, as an audience, shocked because this dude doesn't have anything seemingly wrong with him.
My big fat fabulous Twitter was in arms.
Oh, dude. And so anyway, last year, super nice guy. They're dating. They're making all this plans. Season ends. Pulls the ring out, right?
No
then
shit.
This year, season starts. We got a little turmoil because she lives in North Carolina and he's like he's like in Wilmington.
Of course.
And she's in like Raleigh, and it's like 8 hours away or whatever. And he was
Plus
supposed
COVID.
to move, or they were supposed to move close. And she has her business she has to be with her parents, and she has her business with the other guy, Ryan. And so this guy's supposed to move, but then he opened up a bar, even though I don't know, because he was the head bartender. So I don't know if it was his or they just told him he had like a 0.5% ownership so that he would work there. But anyway, they start having a little bit of drifting apart.
Oh no.
Yes.
Well, was COVID a thing in this?
Yes, COVID happens. This happens. And then he's kind of putting off setting a wedding date. And next thing you know, I got another bitch pregnant. I'm in love with it.
Oh no.
And we're going to try to make it work.
Of course. Well, of course.
It was an ex-girlfriend that Whitney knew about, bro. It was so hard to watch, dude. Because you're just like...
Bro, I may have to watch this episode like out of order and just watch it.
And he's still acting super nice about it, too. So it's very odd, man. It's very odd. Well, one thing I've done with this shows is I'll watch the current season, but I'll play catch up on my own time. I mean, like,
yeah, because it's not like you really like the context is nice, but
I don't want to know what happened yesterday in 3 months. I want both.
And as an American, I have my right to have both.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I know what happened now, and not fill in the context. You know what I mean?
Bro,
like,
that's so funny.
I'll go in the back tomes. Yeah.
That mom is so funny, though. The mom is Babs. She's like it's like her character is written. It's like she's a written character almost.
Well, and Todd?
Which is Todd the dad?
No, Todd is the gay friend that she makes videos with.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Southern Belle.
I wasn't sure if that was the pizza guy. Because there's the pizza guy in season 1. That's like, well, they are, won't they? They're just friends. But he clearly wants to bang.
Oh, that's tremendous. Have you seen Buddy yet?
Is Buddy the pizza guy?
With a beard?
Fatter dude, bigger dude?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
That's her best friend.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's who I'm talking about. He's the pizza delivery guy I'm talking about.
Yeah. I didn't remember. That's pretty far back. He's been unemployed. And then he went to rehab because he was bartending. He's addicted to cocaine. This show has everything, bro. I told you.
That's incredible.
Oh, it's tremendous. Oh. And did you see that one of the girls from the pregnant show that you watch? She coming over to Teen Mom. She got called up to the big leagues.
What? No, I didn't. Oh my God, hold on. I have to look this up right now.
They were like, we need a minor leaguer. Because one of the teen moms, the OGs, she leaving the show for bigger and better things.
Do you know which one?
So she's replacing Chelsea Huska.
Hold on, let me find this.
And she's coming.
I have to find this. I need to know who this is. You said Chelsea
Huska or Huska?
DeBoer?
No. The girl she's replacing. So the girl that's leaving is Chelsea Huska or Huska.
Oh, okay.
And she's getting replaced by another girl from.
Oh, she's up from Teen Mom 2, right?
Yes,
that's what this says.
Yeah,
I'm on people.com because, as you know, this is where we get our information for these.
That makes sense. It makes sense. Everybody has their tools, man.
Hold on, I gotta look up Teen Mom 2 replacement. Teen Mom 2. Sorry.
Yeah, there's gonna be a new cast member.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I'm finding it.
But I saw it. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's the show Pato was talking about. I was like,
wait, so now it's saying this is. Oh, this is no, yeah, this is. She's being replaced from Teen Mom Young and Pregnant, which is another spinoff of Teen Mom, not from Unexpected, from the TLC.
Oh, Unexpected.
Yeah. So I have watched Teen Mom Young and Pregnant. Very good. Also very good. I mean,
everybody, listen, everybody has to start somewhere.
It's also very good. It's also a very good show.
Dana White's got the Contender series. You know what I mean? Like you gotta have a feeder league, you know? Well, that's tremendous, man. Yeah. Whitney's she out there living that fat ass life.
That's crazy, dude.
That's
crazy.
Oh, and you gotta see she's gonna get into weightlifting competitions that you're gonna see, and failed half marathons. She rides bicycles sometimes. She attempts to hike and climb.
How does she ride a bicycle? The mechanics of her riding a bicycle.
We'll see it all.
And ladies and gentlemen, I am not trying to be mean. I'm just being accurate. When you've seen this person and you think about her on a bicycle, the mechanics, the math, the balance, I feel like you have like physics in your head trying to figure out.
The seat design, it's not kind. You know what I mean?
I didn't even think about that. I wasn't even that far, Carlos.
A bicycle seat for her is like the size of a maxi pad.
Carlos, I hadn't even made it that far. I was just thinking like the balance. You were already past that step.
And where is the balance center, Bando?
That's why I couldn't figure out. I was so confused.
That's so disgusting.
You should be.
Listen, man, I celebrate that she's out there living life. Because I'll tell you one thing, as much as I enjoy the show on some levels that are nice and some that maybe are just a little bit meaner.
Sure.
There's always a moment where I'm like, God damn, I'm glad. Like
she's very positive.
She's out there doing her shit.
She's so
what
positive.
else is she gonna do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is she just supposed to hide away forever and not go out there and be fabulous? Fuck it. You gotta do your dance. You know?
Maybe she should though.
So funny. Now, have you seen My Big Mouth?
Is that Big Mouth on Netflix? The cartoon show?
Yeah, Big Mouth. The cartoon show.
Nick Kroll, yeah, I've watched all of it. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to say?
I'm just catching up on the last season right now. Dude,
that show's so funny.
It is brilliant.
So funny. Nick Kroll is so hilarious.
Hormone monsters are hilarious, dude. The way they fucking talk.
Anxiety mosquito and then the big cat depression, like the gratitude. Like it's all so funny, dude. It's so funny.
I'm going to get child married to what's her name?
Bro, the character of Lola, the little MAGA girl, the little blonde chubby MAGA girl, who's voiced by Nick Kroll, that's so funny. It's so funny.
And the amount of dicks that they fucking put on some of the episodes, right? Everything's a dick. Like it's like everything that people thought you couldn't do, that you dive into. But it's just, I think that the best thing about it is like the array of writers that they have.
Sure.
Because they have so many different angles for like this hormone monster.
And let's talk about the subject that they chose. The idea of like puberty and growing up and capturing it in a cartoon like this and being able to actually dive into the fact of like what they're diving into. Exactly that. It's so well done. It's so incredible.
The license to go anywhere because of the context that you're approaching it from.
Are you aware of the controversy over Missy between the last season, the little nerd black girl?
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't know there was controversy, but I thought it was hilarious because, I mean,
right in this
natural
season,
progression.
Right in this season, she embraced her culture.
Blackness.
It was great. It was hilarious. There is a line in that first episode when she's first doing where she's talking about like, oh no, I definitely can't say the N word. Where she's talking about that, because during the off season, the voice actress, she is a white Jewish lady, issued an apology for voice acting Missy, because Missy, while being half Jewish, is also half black. And that joke was kind of like a nod to that happening in the season, in between season 3 and 4, of kind of that bubbling up, which I thought was a very funny way to handle it. Also kind of ridiculous in general, but whatever.
Yeah, because what are you supposed to find? A half Jewish, half black girl to only do that voice in order for nobody to say anything?
Yes. Essentially, yes.
Well, fuck them.
The show is still hilarious. The show is so funny.
Very much funny, dude. Very, very funny. It
was great. Highly recommend everybody watch season 4.
Yeah.
It just dropped.
And also there's another show, which you can watch on Netflix now. And are you into Danny McBride shows?
I've watched them before, but I'm not like Die Hard or anything.
Oh, dude. There's a guy in the Danny McBride shows that he's in Vice Principals. He plays the other vice principal. His name is Lee in that show, but he's a funny dude. He's been in a lot of the Danny McBride shows. He did the Gemstones. He was in Eastbound and Down, and they gave him a show called The Unicorn. It's a CBS show. There's like 18 episodes. And they have it on Netflix. I think they just released it because I'd never seen it before. And it says the season 1 was 2019. Season 2 is out.
Oh, I know what guy you're talking about. The main guy in the unicorn. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I recognize him, but no idea his name.
I hadn't seen like a regular network show in a long time. Fucking really good show. Huh. And it's weird because it's still within the context of what a network show
can only
be. Yeah. You know, in terms of checking off all the boxes. But the cast is fucking great, man. And the way that it's written and everything, like, just really fucking well-balanced show. So if you're running out of shit to watch, highly recommend that motherfucker.
Well, I got one more recommendation I'll throw out there then that just released this past week. Jeremiah Watkins, stand-up comedian, released his first special on Amazon Prime.
No shit.
And I don't know if anybody knows who Jeremiah Watkins is. It's relatively unknown, but he is a band member on the podcast Kill Tony, which is a comedy podcast filmed out of the Comedy Store, where they allow comics a minute of stand-up and they like critique them. They kind of judge them, almost like an open night type thing. Hit or miss, can be definitely hit or miss, but when it hits, it fucking hits. It's a great show. Part of the show is they have a live band, and Jeremiah Watkins is the ringleader of the band. And part of the show is every week they do different characters. And like half of the special is Jeremiah Watkins doing different characters that he's done throughout Kill Tony, but just like his jokes, I don't know, for me, as watching him, listening to him for the last couple of years, to see what he's done and kind of like, right, I could see where he got the nuggets of his ideas to form the full finished joke. Very cool. Very cool. So it's $5 on Amazon.
I'll watch it tomorrow when I'm running. That's cool.
It's called Jeremiah Watkins Family Hour, I believe. It's $5. Highly recommend it. It was funny. I enjoyed it.
Cool. I like him. I like Jeremiah, dude. I think Jeremiah's funny. You also recognize him from Roast Battle.
Yeah, he was part of the Wave.
Similar thing with the band.
He was part of the Wave, which was a Comedy Central. When it was on Comedy Central Roast Battle, he was part of the Wave. He is actually famous for that show for shaving his pubes on Comedy Central in one of the episodes.
Oh, that's right.
Part of that show was the Wave would come in between jokes and whatnot, and like.
Now, have you heard how are they doing Kill Tony since pandemic? I haven't listened to a single one.
They do it on the patio, and it's pre-recorded now. So it's still on Mondays. It still releases at the same time on Mondays, but as opposed to, because they would stream it live on YouTube that you could watch, or you could just watch the podcast. So I know it's pre-recorded. I know it's outside on the patio. They don't have any live audience. It's different. It's definitely different just because there is no live audience. And like, right, some of that show was because of the recording of the live comedy show, the vibe of the audience absolutely played in some of the episodes. So like, there'll be times where there are jokes where at the end, the host will comment, that's a great joke. It just doesn't hit right now because there's no audience right here. So you don't get like the shared laughter experience that sometimes you'll get. So it's interesting. It's different. Definitely different.
Gotcha. Yeah, I haven't watched any since the pandemic.
But before we go, is there anything else? Because there's one last thing I wanted to bring up before we left. We're about 10 minutes before we got to head out.
No, I didn't have anything else that I can think of. I didn't write anything. I was busy.
That's fine.
And yeah, must.
Okay, so I got one last thing.
What you got?
We have our first review. Our first 5-star review that I think we're going to start reading all 5-star reviews on the podcast. Now, this was posted in August, so we're a little late. But
where was it posted on?
On Apple. So I don't get my podcast on Apple Podcasts. So
Me neither. I don't even know what it looks like.
I periodically check our page on Apple's to see, and I hadn't done it in a minute. And we have a podcast, or we have a review. Well, we have a podcast. We also have a review on said podcast.
Wow, that's interesting.
It is a 5-star review. The subject line is "Keep it coming, guys!" ! And quote, it says, "I feel like this isn't edited much and I like it!" ! And the reviewer was Mex702. So whoever you are, Mex702. I think I have an idea of who this could be. I think I'm pretty sure I know who this is.
What is it again?
Mex702.
I see.
MEX702.
Very good.
There's only one person this is. Should I just say it? Should I just share?
It's got to be Ricky.
It's Ricky. It's our brother Ricky. So Ricky, shout out to you, my man. Thank you for back in August. That's what's up. Everyone else, leave a review. Come on, guys. We're going to start reading them. We love it.
In the words of Tin Cup, well, I always say quit on a good shot.
That's right. So we're going to quit right there. That's it. Episode number 20, Children of the Beast. Next time, episode 21. Ooh, we can gamble. We can drink as a podcast. How exciting.
I
you will not be doing it. Well, yeah.
I still won't be able to drink.
Out. It's a cool milestone. We're at 21. That's exciting. Anywho's, that's it. That's the show. Follow the show, Children of the Beast podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, where you can leave a review. You can also leave a comment on our YouTube videos, right? The channels, Children of the Beast podcast, search it. You'll find us. What's up? Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Do all that stuff on Spotify, Apple, you know the whole thing. Follow me at Andrew_the Hut on Twitter and Instagram. Follow Carlos at Wolfchild1980. And yeah, that's it. Should we do this at the beginning? Should we drop our Twitter stuff? I don't think people care, but I feel like more people will hear it if we do the Twitter stuff at the beginning of the show, because I feel like at this point I would have already turned off the podcast. But I don't know if it matters at this point.
I don't think it matters. I have to imagine that people become a fan of a podcast before they start following the people from the podcast.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah. I guess that's true. And like I do it in all of like the information sections too.
Well, there's that. And our social media for the podcast is going to launch in the new year too. Yeah.
Season 2.
I think
season 2.
I think we want to point everybody to the actual podcast platforms rather than our personal ones.
Yeah.
Once they're available. Yeah. So I think,
Okay. Well,
cool. Right on, man. You stopping it?
Yeah, I'll just end it at some point. Bye.
Yeah.
Hello. We're back real quick. I would like to make an announcement. The preschool I work at has raised $1,000 in honor of Team Mikey for the fundraiser that my preschool was doing, and that money is going to be donated to the family, and it's very exciting. And I just would like to, I'm sure none of those parents are listening, but it just means a lot to me personally. I know it means a lot to Carlos, to Jamie, to all of us. So thank you, everybody. We love y'all.